The Commonwealth of Fallout 4 is full of desolate wonder and interesting characters, who you can then kill and loot. It's also home to some locations that wouldn't be out of place in Freddy Krueger's ambient-fueled nightmares. It doesn't matter how decked out your power armor is, because fear can penetrate the hardest of suits. Grab your security blanket, duck under the covers, and check under the bed for feral ghouls as we dive into these pulse-raising locations. Number 1. Swan's Pond. While it's not very scary on the surface, Swan's Pond near Boston Common is terrifying for another reason. You might think you're just passing by a pond with nothing noteworthy around, but then it happens. The ground begins to rumble. You turn around just in time to see the ugly face of one of the game's unique super mutant behemoths named Swan, who, incidentally, has a big plastic swan strapped to his shoulder. If you don't become a crater within the first few seconds of encountering him, you might just be able to take him down to get a legendary Furious Power Fist weapon. That is, if you don't crap your pants when you first encounter him. Number 2. Suffolk County Charter School. A school in the middle of a post-apocalyptic wasteland? How creepy could it be? Of course, the answer is very, very creepy indeed. What makes Suffolk County Charter School unique is the school's history. If you look into the background of the school, you'll find out how it was part of a government experiment called the Nutritional Alternative Paste Program. That means the school swapped out its rubbery chicken nuggets and crappy pizza for pink sludge. So, in other words, it was an upgrade. Still, apparently the paste increased aggression in the students and actually turned their skin a little pink. While that's pretty gross, fans of Fallout are no stranger to seeing the results of experiments gone awry. But there's something more unnerving than usual to walk into the school and see all the feral ghouls with bubblegum pink skin. Number 3. Dunwich Borers. Ah, the Dunwich Borers, a place where hope goes to die and where your sense of reality goes to get warped. If you're at all familiar with the works of H.P. Lovecraft, then you might have picked up on the reference to the Dunwich Horror, a short story written in 1928. You might also recognize the name Dunwich because it appeared in Fallout 3 in the form of the Dunwich Building, a dungeon that featured a lot of supernatural phenomena and was arguably the creepiest place in the capital wasteland. The Dunwich Borers is a dig site that looks innocent enough, or as innocent as a place in a Fallout game can get, but it hides a terrible secret. As you clamber deeper into the pit, you'll witness supernatural flashbacks akin to the ones from the Dunwich Building, and a bunch of feral ghouls trying to gnaw your face off. If you venture deeper, you can find a dagger called Krem's Tooth at the bottom of a well. You'll also see part of a face poking out of the water, presumably belonging to a statue of some elder god or some kind of entity worshipped by the Dunwich Company. Number 4. Milton's Parking Garage. Remember the Saw movies? Remember how badly you wanted to feel like you were trapped in one of them, but only lacked the psychotic friends necessary to make your dreams come true? Well, good news. Fallout 4's Milton Parking Garage has got you covered. Located next to the Milton General Hospital, the labyrinthine, booby-trapped garage contains devices designed to maim you, locked room puzzles, and even more mannequins, placed there with the sole purpose of giving players the heebie-jeebies. Creepier than the dungeon itself is the question that looms after you've escaped. Who put this whole crazy thing together, and why? And seriously, where's he getting all the mannequins? It looks like a JCPenney on a coupon day. Number 5. The Museum of Witchcraft. One of the absolute coolest places in all the Commonwealth is the Museum of Witchcraft. And it's one you should probably avoid if you're not armed to the teeth. You'll actually be sent here if you pick up the quest called The Devil's Due, and decide to track down some missing soldiers that belong to the Gunners. But it's still best to wait until you're really ready to deal some damage. The front doors are locked tight, so you'll need to enter the building through the basement. If you have stealth boys, you'll want to use them, because you'll immediately discover that you're not alone in the building. Floorboards creak and inhuman noises fill the air. Experienced players will recognize the sound as everyone's favorite monster, a Deathclaw. And not only does that Deathclaw stalk you through the museum's halls, but around every corner you'll encounter a bunch of spooky mannequins, meant only to raise your blood pressure even more. If you manage to avoid or kill the beast, you can loot a mound of Deathclaw eggs. And you know what that means, omelets for everyone, or more accurately, a whole lot of caps. And number 6, Pickman Gallery. This place will really make you wonder whether or not you should help everyone you meet in the Commonwealth. Upon entering the Pickman Gallery, you'll see a bunch of disturbing paintings hanging on the wall, all painted with vibrant reds and yellows. Kinda like Nintendo Pikmin. They all show scenes pulled straight out of the depths of hell, or maybe just a typical day at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. We're not quite sure. More to the point, you'll see a bunch of raiders trying to kill a man named Pickman. Should you choose to save him, he'll drop some creepy lines of gratitude and give you a key that lets you loot a safe for a weapon called Pickman's Blade. Once you really take a look around and see all the buckets of blood and dismembered body parts everywhere, and then think about the name of the weapon, it'll dawn on you that Pickman is a maniac who paints those freakish paintings using the blood of his victims. So that answers that question. Those are definitely pictures of Five Guys. Or, ground up Nintendo Pikmin. Either way. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more videos like the one you just saw. And leave us a comment to tell us which Fallout 4 location put you off solid food for the longest.